One of the biggest things I see that's holding high-ticket closers back from making the commissions they want to be making is overthinking and caring too much about what the other people think about them. My name is Brian Choi. I made $228,000 in commissions in my first year in sales, became the number 2 at 7th level out of 15 to 20 all-star closers. I did that by being less smarter than people, thinking less, and being more naive. Here's how I did it. I'm really not a mindset guy, so I hate to make this video, but I think this is going to help a lot of people because when I'm seeing my sales community, real sales system, I keep seeing a pattern, which is salespeople are just overthinking just all the steps that are not that important, not that relevant, instead of just going for it. As an example, there's one member, I put out a post. He's like, hey, so this offer, pretty good, reputable business owner in the space. You guys should apply. And then about a week after, this one member commented, he's like, hey, is this offer still available? And I commented back, hey, businesses make room for savage closers. Just fucking go for it. Just go for it. Because you want to have that attitude, hey, I'm going to go in and give you guys more sales by following up, whether keep killing on the one call close, whatever it may be. You make room for me on your sales team. You may not be saying that because they may come off a bit arrogant unless you have the track record to prove it, but you're going with that attitude. You're like, hey, I'm going to help you guys. We're going to help each other. What can we do? You want to go with that attitude. In another instance too, another member commented on a similar post. He's like, hey, like, should I apply for this role because I don't think I'm that good yet? Or, hey, I think I can only work part-time. Should I do it? And I commented, well, if you apply, now you have a 1% chance of getting hired. If you don't, you have a 0% chance. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather choose the elite 1% chance over the 0% chance. All the time, anytime. So that's the thing, is we don't have to ask for permission, right? Because sometimes we feel like, and I've been there too, I'm still working on it. Sometimes we feel like we need that permission, we need that assurance, is asking a mentor, asking your manager, asking your friend or whoever, your spouse, partner. But the thing is, we can just go for it and figure it out as we go. When you see people that are just coming out of nowhere, it seems like they came out of nowhere, they got into sales and they got to like 20, 30K in commissions, 30K a month in commissions. It seems like they came out of nowhere and they don't seem that much smarter than you. I don't think that guy's that much smarter than me. I don't think he's that much better than me. But the reason why is because they just went for it. They're more naive, not just in sales, but when I look at most fields in different areas, whether it be business, health, dating, whatever it may be, life, sales, is the people that are succeeding, they're delusional. Look at someone like Steve Jobs. He was fucking delusional. He's going to put this thing called a smartphone in everyone's person's hand, and they're going to have like call people, go on social media. Facebook, for example, they're going to connect everyone. Who the fuck are you to think of that? They didn't care. They just went for it. Same thing with sales. Is when you're like, should I apply for that job offer? Hey, should I call this lead? They said no in the first call. Should I go for it? Yes. And on that call, you clearly can tell this person's making excuses why they haven't done something. Like, should I say something? Yes. Because how are you helping them by just letting them keep being in that behavior in that instance? So you just go for it and figure out as you go. But you're like, yeah, but what if the person doesn't agree with me? Or what if the person snaps back at me? Or what if the person hangs up on me? Or what if they say, fuck you? What if the person says, hey, we're looking for more experienced people? Oh, yeah, because you have that because you're too afraid of what other people think of you. And I get it because I've been there. And it's something that I'm still working on myself. And again, I'm not a mindset guy, but the reason why I love sales is because we get into sales because of what? We want to make more money. We want to have more time freedom. We want to have more location freedom. So we get into it for superficial reasons. Nothing wrong with that. But what I found is that that's almost like the lead magnet. Hey, get into sales because of this. But what's the real thing, what you get from sales, is the personal development you get from it. And I wish I could have put a more tangible, more technical way of putting it because it sounds kind of woo-woo. But as an example, as you're going sales, you realize a lot of your shit comes out. For example, I'm afraid of challenging that person. Now your shit comes out. You're too afraid of challenging that person because you're afraid of what that person will think of you. You're afraid of following up with that person and then objection handling because you're too afraid of what that person will think of you. Your shit comes out. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I love sales. That's one of the biggest reasons why I love about the dating community, because I got into it because I wanted to lose my virginity and I had no friends. I was depressed in my room as a 19-year-old, just fucking hating life. And I was at a pretty low point in my life. So I got into that because I wanted to get laid. I want to lose my virginity. And then what I realized was, oh, a lot of my shit came out. Because then I'm approaching a girl on the street. What if the girl rejects me? What if she says, fuck you? I don't know what to say. What should I do? What if I feel awkward? A lot of your shit comes out, right? So what that does, like, now you're just not even starting. You're not even approaching the girl. Whereas another guy, he doesn't give a fuck that is 5'4". He doesn't give a fuck that he's ugly. He doesn't give a fuck that he's like whatever. He just goes talk to the girl. Now, who has a better chance of getting that girl? That the guy just starting the starting line, overthinking everything, or that guy that just approached? Same thing in sales. While you're just not challenging the prospect, some other guy did, whether from your offer or some dude on another offer. They challenged that prospect. Who has a better chance of getting the sale? The person who just challenged them, right? On a limiting beliefs that's not serving the prospect. While you're thinking, should I call that lead? What should I say? Another dude already called that lead. Who has a better chance of getting that sale? That the person who just called them. And guess what? During the process, now the person is taking action. Now they have a better chance of making the process better. Because now they're like, oh, whenever I say this, the prospect's shutting down, so I should try this instead. So through that, they're just kind of navigating. It's almost like, I give this analogy whenever a prospect gives an objection of, they say like, yeah, but what if this doesn't work, yada, yada, yada. They have the fear. Maybe you get that too, which is normal. And I would always say, and they're thinking all these things. Yeah, but what if, I start this business and, I start this business and I'll be too busy with the business. I don't have time for my family. Well, bro, you don't have time for your family now. So let's worry about that later. All right, let's worry about that later. It's like that guy, Hermosi was talking about this. There's a guy that's not in shape. They're not going to the gym. And they're like, yeah, but what if I get too bulky? I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be too muscular. Oh, dude, you look like you don't go to the gym at all. So how about you go to the gym, pack on some muscle first, and then you worry about the next problems. Same thing, right? So with the prospects, what I used to do was like, oh, brother, while you're at the starting line, overthinking the next 100 steps you're going to take, there's another guy that's less smart than you, that's not as good as you. They just started walking one step at a time. And guess what? Yes, they fell and scraped their knees and they ate shit 12 times. But they're already 13 steps ahead of you. So who's winning more? And who's you rather be? I'd rather be that guy that fell and ate shit. And yeah, listen, other people may fucking laugh at him. He's like, oh, look at that guy. He's like falling, looking, he's scraping her knees. Oh, poor him. But guess what? That guy doesn't give a shit because he's closer to where he wants to go. And guess what? He's fucking trying. He's fucking going for it. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be the guy fucking going for it. Okay? So there's a saying that I learned from a dating coach. And it's very interesting how dating and sales is correlated. I love giving different analogies and comparisons because it's quite similar. But he said, it ain't easy being sleazy. It ain't easy being sleazy. And I'm like, what does that mean? It said, it's not easy to be sleazy. It's not easy to be pushy. It's not easy to be needy. But the thing is, and I say this all the time, you'll close more deals and help more people being pushy, aggressive, and needy than being passive, timid, and non-persistent. It's just what it is. Going back to the 1% chance versus 0% chance, right? So because the reason why I asked that question to that dating coach is like, hey, the people are sitting down at a restaurant, but I find this cute girl. I'm kind of afraid of going and talking to them. Like, what should I do? He's like, well, dude, if you don't go talk to them, now you have a 0% chance of talking to that girl. But if you go talk to them, yeah, maybe worst case scenario, they get annoyed, but still now you have a 1% chance. So what would you rather do? And like, how many of those people are going to be at your wedding? How many of those people are going to be at your funeral? And so whenever it be like a dating context or a sales context, how many of those people? Are you really going to meet them in real life? Probably very rarely. Probably not. So if you're not going to see them in real life, if you're not going to talk to them again, who cares? At the end of the day, it's just a person. I'm not saying them to just piss a bunch of people off for the sake of pissing a bunch of people off. I'm not saying that. Be nice, be kind, be a good human, but who cares? You're not going to talk to them. So you'd rather be needy, because if you're feeling needy, talking to them, now you have a better chance of not only making commissions for yourself, making more money for the business, but also helping that person. Maybe they just needed that bit of a nudge. And I had so many of those instances. For example, when the person says they don't have the money, say, hey, brother, You may not have the money, but are you willing to become resourceful? Yes. Why? Okay, cool. So what will you do? What's your plan? And the person says, I don't know. A lot of closers in the high ticket industry would just give up. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So, no worries. Just feel free to reach out whenever you have the money together. And then they just give up on the person altogether. But what I would do is I would sit in that discomfort. It's like, hey, brother, like, what could you do? They're like, I don't know. Well, you got to have some ways. Who do you know that could potentially help you out? Your parents, friends, sisters, who you got? They're like, yeah, but I don't know if I want to ask my sister. Well, because I don't want to be a burden, da-da-da. Yeah, but what would you rather choose? You just feeling like a burden forever because you're not reaching your full potential, you're not making more money, being paycheck to paycheck, them feeling sorry for you, or you feel like a burden for 5 seconds, but now you have a better possibility of learning the skills to make more money so you don't have to be a burden ever again. What would you rather choose? And they're like, okay, fine. And they'll call that person on the Zoom call. I'd have them do that. On the Zoom call, all right, call them right now. They're like, okay. And then I'll sit there like this, answer some emails, whatever it may be. And then they're like, they didn't pick up. Okay, who else you got? I could call my cousin. Okay, call the cousin. All right, cousin. And I'll do that. And then I'll have them get the money on the spot and pay right then and there. Or they have to wait until their cousin comes back from work. And then not everyone, but more people will do that. And that's better than nothing. And those people compound, right? About 33% of my overall commissions came from these kind of follow-ups, right? So if I didn't do these follow-ups, then I would have lost out on about 70 grand last year, 70 to 71K in commissions by not doing this. Because how I know is because I track my data. It shows on my pie chart on my data. So, and I made about 228K in commissions last year. So do not give up on people too soon. You'd rather have no shame. Something Matt Ryder told me, and Matt was making about 100K a month in commissions at his peak for 3 months consecutively. What he would tell me is that as a salesperson, you're not allowed to feel awkward. As a salesperson, you're not allowed to feel flustered. You cannot have the awkward gene. Because the moment you feel awkward, now you're going to be like, am I saying the right things? Now you're dead in the water. But people, because you're overthinking, you're too afraid of what other people think. But there's another guy that said, I have no shame. Yeah. So just call that person. No ego. Hey man, like, saw that you didn't show up. Like, you don't have that call now. You don't have the call now. Hey man, I saw that you booked a call. You didn't show up. You just want to talk now. They have no ego. They have no need for feeling needy. They just go for it. I live in Dubai and there's a lot of escorts, a lot of working girls here. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Aside from the morality of it, what I admire about those people is that they're completely shameless. They're completely shameless. So they'll look a man with a wedding ring on their finger, dead in the eyes, and say, oh, $1,000 I'm yours for the night, baby. No shame. They see the wedding ring. They have no shame. They're not afraid of getting rejected. They say that to every guy. Oh, it's $1,000 a night. Some guys will say, I don't do that. What? Get off of me. They don't give a shit. They keep going. Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just, as salespeople, that's what we want. I forgot what it's called in English. In Korea, it's called otugi. There's these kind of toys where, you knock it off from balance and then it keeps coming back up. Knock off balance, come back up. Knock off balance, comes back up. Doesn't matter what direction. It always comes back up because if there's a magnet or something in the bottom, right? That's what we want. Not just as sales professionals, salespeople, but in our life in general. Life knocks you down, rejections or whatever knocks you down, you keep coming back up. Now, if you keep repeating the same behavior that's getting you the results that you have right now, that would be called insanity, right? But you keep getting back up and it's like, hey, how can I make this better? You keep going at it. And through that process, you make the process better, you get better, you make more money, and that's really what you want. And so the biggest thing is what Mao tells us as well. Stop stopping. Stop stopping. And I don't want to be like the Shia LaBeouf, just do it, motivational speaker, but it's really, I want you to really take a hard look at yourself. And it's like, where am I doing this? Where am I literally just stopping? Where could I just keep going, just get after it? Would it be on your sales calls, off sales calls, and off of your working hours during your day-to-day life? Where are you holding yourself back? And just literally have no shame. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But here's the thing. As sales professionals, if we're not the ones getting outside of our comfort zone first, how are we going to tell our prospects to get us out of their comfort zone? Doesn't make sense, and it doesn't. And so, again, I'm not a perfect human being either. I feel fear. I have discomfort. Whenever I want to go talk to that girl there with like 4 other friends, I feel discomfort. But I force myself to go anyway. Whenever I am calling a lead that said, you know, maybe we had a heated debate, heated argument per se, I still call that person, right? It's like, hey man, what's going on? Yeah, it's just Brian from XYZ team. Yeah, man, I know we had a chat the other day. It was a fun chat. But yeah, man, have you given up on that or ended up happening? I just keep going at it, right? Because that's how we grow. Yes, the material of the superficial things, like, yeah, you get to grow, you get the money, but also during the time, your shit goes away. Your need for getting approval and validation from other people starts to go away more. And isn't that what you want? I don't know about you, but I want to be an incredible communicator. I want to be an incredible person as a general, just being able to handle whatever situation, because when I was younger, I didn't have any of that. I didn't know how to handle those situations, and I had a lot of insecurities and approval that I'm still working on to this day. I don't think it'll ever go away, because that's the whole point of life, is that the moment you arrive, then where's the fun goes? You know, I'm from South Korea, where we're pretty much the #1 in suicide rates in the world out of all the developed countries. And a lot of that I see often is celebrities committing suicide, because they'll write a letter and they'll be like, yeah, so I got the money, I got the fame, and I have everything I want, but I didn't ask for any of this. I don't know what to do now. And then they end their lives. That's not the only reason, but I've seen that often as I was growing up in different cases. And because the moment you feel like you arrive, you're like, now what? It's like Michael Phelps was talking about this in an interview. He said, when Olympians feel the most depressed is right after they break a world record, right after they win a gold medal. Because it's ironic, isn't it? Because they're at the highest high. You won the gold medal. You worked 4 years to get this thing, all the sacrifices, said no to parties, eat the broccolis when you didn't want to, just end the gym, just pushing yourself. All the crowd cheering for you. You win the gold medal. You're like, yes, take the photos, the interview. You go back to your empty hotel room by yourself, and you're sitting in silence, and you're like, now what? Now what? You don't know. You don't know where to go next when you don't have that, right? So that's why I think this is the fun part, is that you keep going after it. Like, there's always a next level. So you keep working on yourself, and that's why I like it. I know it's not a sexy thing, but that's why I really like it. So if you get one thing out of this video, the biggest thing I challenge you with is go through situations that make you feel uncomfortable. You feel awkward, you're afraid of what the other person's gonna think of you. Do it anyway, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to develop thicker skin and be used to that and be able to go through that, which makes you not only a better salesperson, but a better person, period.